It's what you have been waiting for. Thanks for joining us on Keefe It Real, where we hope to help you understand what things are going on in our community and give you a voice to make it better. Join Jimmy Keefe and co-host Minda having a chat about what's happening and why it is happening. Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Season 2. We are here. Keefe It Real is back, and we are here. I'm so glad that you're with me, Minda.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Did you miss me?
Yes.
Yeah, terribly.
Yes.
That's the word you're looking for at the end, is terribly.
Deeply.
Yes. Well, we've been really busy.
But really, this goes to you. Like, you've been really busy. Like, you were the godfather of the situation. So tell the people what you've been doing, why we took such an elongated hiatus to ready Season 2 for them.
I love telling my story when I was on the podcast with you because, it was fun. It was fun. We were telling stories and people would say, hey, I didn't know that. And I really enjoyed it. And what I wanted to do was to have a more professional way to have outreach to people. And so
more professional than the audio
than just the audio broadcast before. So we're on video now. How do we look?
Hello.
Okay, thank you. Yes. But we built a studio.
You built a studio. And boy, howdy, did you ever build a studio?
Through a lot of YouTube and research and everything else. And it's now called the Share Studios because I'm sharing it. I'm sharing information. I'm sharing talent. I'm sharing it with you. And I just want this to be a place where people can tell their own stories. And that's why we have the Share Studios now.
It's very cool. It's a lot cooler than he's making it sound. I'm just going to say that right there. Check this out behind me. Is it still green right now? We have a producer, Brian. Brian, good job. Okay, watch what he can do. He's going to totally flip the script on us. Come here for your podcasting needs. Let's see, what else do you offer? Photography,
right? Audio, video.
And that means recording, like if you are an up-and-coming rapper or any kind of musical person. Each part of this is cool. It's like the thing when you're at a museum and they've got stations set up. It's very well done. You've got to come down and see it. Where are you located?
Off of Bragg Boulevard on Sigmund Street, which runs parallel right behind a place called the Trophy House, which I know pretty well.
They're one of our sponsors.
Yes.
Check it out.
So before we go any farther, I'm going to reacquaint myself. I'm Jimmy Keefe. This is Keefe It Real, and I am joined by my cohort and probably the person who keeps me grounded as an elected official, Miss Minda. And so I have grew up here in this town. I've got a local business, and I've been involved in politics for a couple years. And this is just another way that we can share the story of what is happening and maybe get inside the huddle on some things that you may not know or may not understand. I hope that is something.
It's fun.
I hope that's something that we can do together.
Yeah, it's going to be like a really good time. We're trying to get a very local heartbeat going on in this situation. The Share Studios is trying to tap into the local heartbeat, and this podcast is part of that.
Yes.
So that's Jimmy, and I'm Minda, and you can hear me on the radio. I'm a radio personality and a comedian, and so I got a lot of stuff going on. So if they wanted to reach out to you and tell you about stuff going on, what would they do? Follow us on Facebook.
You can email us at info@the Share Studios. Come by for a tour. We'd love to show you what we got here. But what I really got here is information.
Okay, let's hear it.
So here we are. We're in October. We're coming to the end of October.
This is your time as an elected official. I say it like that because he does not like the word politician.
I'm here to serve you. But we have a municipal election. City of Fayetteville is having their elections coming up, as is Hope Mills and Spring Lake and all the other small municipalities. But the one that always drives a little bit is what's happening in Fayetteville. And one of the things I want to talk about is they had a primary about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And there are 127,000 registered voters in Cumberland County for city elections.
And they're all doing their job, right?
Everyone is doing it. Well, the mayor got 6,000 votes at the primary, which means that he only received 5% of the registered voters. And so what has happened is we've got to do better. we've got to get people out voting. I'm not saying Mitch won well, but it was such a small percentage.
Mitch wins a lot.
Yeah, he does. He had a good, strong showing. He got over 60% of the vote, but it was only 5% of the people registered. Hey, congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes, Mitch has been on with us before. Hope to have him again. But so we're coming up on the new election. I'm going to run down a little bit about who's running. And so every one of the incumbents, the people who are already sitting there and on your city council, are running again. So, of course, our mayor, Mitch, is running against Freddie Delacruz.
I don't know anything about Freddie Delacruz.
Freddie ran against him last time. Freddie is, what I do know about him, Freddie is hasn't served in any elected office, but has a military background. I think he's a retired officer, and he's got his own company.
Let me ask you a question about
Sure.
that. And it may be kind of a controversial question, but do you feel that the military background in this town is that big of a deal? Because, like, the guy who delivers my pizza has a military background.
Right.
He only got to be like an E3, but he has a military background. Like, do you feel like that is sincere, or do you feel like it's kind of a bargaining chip? You know, like it doesn't.
Well, I'll tell you. So I don't know if you know this, but I have a military.
Well, I
I'm
know.
actually a veteran too.
I've heard.
But so what people want is what they can relate to. And if you are a military person and your life is built around that military structure and that military environment, that may appeal to you. If you are a business person, you want somebody who will take a business type approach. If you're a community activist or someone who does a lot of volunteering through nonprofit, you're connecting with those people. So everybody's trying to connect.
Sure. Oh,
And what you have to find out, especially in today's world, is you can't connect at one level. You have to connect at a lot of different levels. And so with me, I can talk about my business background. I can talk about my military background. I can talk about my public service background. I'm a dad. I can talk about how it is to be a family man and a father.
But do you feel like that's going to help Freddie? Like,
I think Freddie is a little too one-dimensional right now.
that's my question.
Yes, you have to go and explore, because you have to remember too that military grouping that he's appealing to.
Right.
Many of them might not even be registered to vote here.
I was going to ask you, like, do you think they're voting in our local elections? Everybody at Fort Liberty.
There's two kinds of people that don't vote: people who can't vote and people who don't vote. Okay, so they choose not to vote or they cannot vote in this area. So those are two pretty broad things.
Yeah.
But energizing your base. I just told you Mitch won 60% of the vote with only 5% of the people showing up. That's 95% of the people didn't come vote.
Yeah. Forgive me. Does Mitch have a military background? I don't.
No,
Mitch,
no. Mitch. I believe Mitch's father does. You know, in this community.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like
everybody knows somebody.
Like, I feel like we need something more unique.
Yeah,
give me that single mom who's also got the military background. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Who struggles with it?
Right.
You know, and it's kind of like a lot of things. People try to connect, but sometimes it just falls flat because you got to do it.
So you got Mitch and Freddie.
Right.
Like Freddie's Mitch. Knows the ropes around.
Yeah, you know, Mitch is, but our community is very diverse culturally, very diverse racially, and it's hard. It's kind of like the Speaker of the House. It's hard to please everybody. You know, they're trying to pick up a new speaker in Washington.
Yeah.
In Washington, we'll go into that in a minute. But I do want to go on to incumbent Kathy Jensen, who I happen to know pretty well, is facing Alex Rodriguez, and Alex Rodriguez ran against her last year, and Kathy is.
Season.
Yeah. Yes. There's a couple of them that keep showing up. Yeah. People in there. Shaquila Ingram is another incumbent in District 2, and she's running against Malik Davis, who had a great showing, although small percentage of people came out. He was the leading vote getter in the primary.
Okay.
So, and then you have Mario Benavente. He is.
Can't say anything bad about Mario.
I'm just. If there's a guy, if there is a guy that knows how to sell himself and his product,
sincere. Like, he's so sincere.
Yeah. A lot of times you have to crack a few eggs to get noticed on there, and he certainly has done that. He's running against somebody, a newcomer, Michelle Dillon. DJ Hare has been around for a long time, took a break, came back, and is working. He's running against another newcomer called Stuart Collick. I think the biggest race that's going to happen in our community is probably going to be the Lynn Green, Johnny Dawkins. Well, they're both come from very similar backgrounds, but they are really, if you were going to have the most attack generated race. Oh yeah, they're going back and forth on a couple of things.
That's exciting.
Oh well, you got to have a little bit of action whenever you're doing these kind of things. But Lynn comes from a long time Fayetteville family, as does Johnny. And the odd thing is they're really pulling from a lot of the same group, but they both got through the primary. Lynn was the leading vote getter in the primary going in. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. Probably something that's really interesting to me is everybody complains, about what's happening in the city. A lot of people complain, people that try to stay in. But there are 3 people who are running unopposed. And
yes, I saw that.
The irony of all that is, I mean, there's an average of 14,000 citizens in each district. And not one person felt like, hey, I can run, I can do better, I can do this.
Everybody's busy.
Well, of course they are.
You only get I'm going to ask you a question. Like, people don't get a lot of money to be these elected officials, right? It's just like a little stipend.
They are compensated, sometimes.
It's a huge thing.
You couldn't live on it. Right. I think the intent is you're not supposed to live on it.
No, yeah. It's dirty politics.
Now, based upon my experience, like most things in your life, everybody gets paid the same, but some people work harder than others.
Right.
Some people show up at events more than others. Some people travel more than others.
It takes a special person to want to be elected official.
Well, I think I always called it a calling much like you would, whether it be the priesthood, whether it be the military or law enforcement. It's inside you. Sometimes you want to serve, you want to do good.
I'm just going to state for the record, I do not want my politics inside me. Keep going.
The problem comes in with, like a lot of these things, people think they want to do this, but then when they get up there, there's a joke that we use, they're only here for the shrimp. Meaning they love to go to the buffet and tell everybody, hey, I'm this, I'm that, my opinion matters. But look at the record. When you're going to vote for these people, look and see what they've done. So Derek Thompson, Brenda McNear, and Courtney Banks McLaughlin are unopposed. They can save a lot of money this time and not do anything. And then in District 9 is Dino Hondras, and he's running against Fredlicia Lasana, another newcomer. So Dino's only been there one term. So I think the only real race that's going to generate a lot of, there's 2 of them. I believe that District 2, Shaquilla Ingram and Malik Davis, because he did well in the primary, and Johnny Dawkins, Lynn Green race is going to be interesting to follow. There may be some other surprises, but those are the 2 I think are going to probably. But what is important this time, for the first time, people have to show voter ID.
Yes.
How do you feel about
that? I feel like it's important. I think they should. I'm surprised they didn't have to show it up until now.
Yeah. The odd thing about it, there was so much controversy. How many years have we talked about voter ID? And
it's a season 2, so 2.
We've talked about it for 2, but it's been talked about all over for years. And there were so many people that were so hard against it, and there were so many people that wanted it. It was a real dividing topic. But it kind of came in like a lion and went out like a lamb.
Yeah.
Didn't hear any controversy about it if somebody didn't have their ID. Now, if you are going to come vote in the election in November, there are a couple different types of IDs that you can use. So one of those is, of course, the North Carolina driver's license. What are some other IDs?
Anything from, I'm looking at the list, guys, anything from North Carolina. You can use your driver's license, your state ID, your non-driver's license from another state, anything that looks government issued. The passport, I always use my passport just because I feel very bougie when I do that. I am. College or university ID, it has to be approved by the State Board of Elections, state or local government or charter school employee ID. Basically anything that's been government issued is what's going to get you through at the polls this year.
So make sure you bring your ID.
Now, it's already started. It says early voting has started October 19th and it ends November 4th. So it has already started and it's actually just about to end. So get on it.
Right. It's, one of the things that we talk about is, folks, we can do better. We should do so much better at voting.
Jimmy's very passionate.
Only 8%. 8% of people, 92% of people did not vote in the last election. 92. If you have a group of 100 people, 92 of them decided to stay home and not share what there is. Don't let other people choose how you live your life and how you're given.
Why do you think it was so low?
Well, I think that we have not done a good job with having consistency in voting, in early voting, in locations, in precincts. People like structure in their life, and they need to know that if they like to go to the same grocery store, they like to go to the same gas station, they want to go to the same polling place, they want to, if there is a natural disaster, they want to know where the emergency shelter is before.
So you don't think this is anything about to do different generations?
I think the youth has never, ever been the biggest demographic in voting. It is always the 60 plus. They are consistently out there. Those are your hardcore voters that don't miss an election. Yes, those are the ones. They're also the ones that are in the neighborhood watch, and they're the ones that are doing things.
I do appreciate the neighborhood.
I heard a statistic somewhere, and this was interesting, that 1 out of 6 people that live in any community, they don't even know any of their neighbors. And I think that's a little different than maybe it was when we were growing up, that people knew all the people around them. They knew their kids. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
But
that's that Norman Rockwell thing that doesn't really exist anymore, though.
Well, during COVID, I have young kids, and they were getting their interaction through FaceTime and, doing virtual things. And, so I think they're learning differently. But anyway, there's a couple things. So get out and vote. The election day is, I believe it is November the 7th. Yes. And your last day to early vote is Saturday, November 4th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Couple good things happening in the county. I know a little bit about what's happening. We'll take you in the huddle. There is a new Crown Event Center coming in downtown.
No, I went to that board meeting. It's going to be very, very cool. And I like that because at the meeting that I went to, they're going to be bringing a lot of stuff here to Fayetteville that we traditionally have had to drive to Raleigh for.
Yes.
And that was kind of my big point in that meeting. I was like, we shouldn't have to. We have a huge population here that pay to not drive to Raleigh to do fun things.
And they've sort of turned the box a little bit on this Crown Event Center because it's very flexible. And not only, we're not really trying to compete with Raleigh and Durham as much as we are. If you look south of us, there's not much.
Myrtle Beach, baby.
Well, you got Myrtle Beach, but everything else we can come up. We can be a real hub. And this sort of facility tracks itself very well to different
cultural events.
Cultural events. You can have everything from banquets and auctions to live stage performances, and they can do all that. There's been a lot of questions about how the parking is. Believe me, there's been a lot of conversation about parking.
Have they figured the parking out?
We have got it figured out, but I'll go back to what I said just a few minutes ago. People don't like change.
Yeah.
And so if they've been used to going to the same parking lot for the last 5 years, they like that. There's another parking lot that the county has access to that's really almost exactly the same distance away. And for a short time, that's the parking lot that they'll use. It won't cause any more distance in it. But there are some long-term plans to take care of the parking permanently.
How long? Like how long after the center stuff?
Probably be done a lot of times at the same time.
So not too long.
Yeah, there's a couple of things we're working out. Yeah, but there is a permanent decision for parking that will work out very well.
Well, that's good news, guys.
Yeah.
Good news on parking.
Yeah. Got a new homeless shelter coming.
So I'm really excited about that because that is such an issue, and winter is coming. That is a huge, huge community concern.
I think what you're going to be even more excited about.
Tell me what I'm going to be excited about.
That too many homeless programs don't try to take that next step. I've always been an advocate. If there's ever a government program that you should work very hard to eradicate, it's the homeless thing, because you want to help people out of homelessness. And I've always said that there's 4 types of homelessness, and economic homelessness is the easiest one to fix. It's somebody that just had a couple bad months. Maybe they lost their car, they can't get to work, or something happened. But you also have the substance abuse and the mental health, and then the choice homelessness. But one of the things I love about this, it is working with FTCC, and it is focusing on the trades. If you come to this shelter, you can enroll in their class to learn one of about 7 or 8 different trades that will bring you in the neighborhood of $60,000 to $80,000 a year. If you have the will to be part of this program, then the school is right beside the new facility.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And there are private trade companies in here that are willing to hire people while they're in class, so they can be getting paid a good salary, go into class and learning a trade. It's the best way out of homelessness.
So what's the screening? It sounds like Job Corps.
It is Job Corps with a very, think of it more as like basic training. You know, you're in a space where you can get your education, you can get your training, you can get everything that you need, and they're going to give you options on where to go next.
When is that going to start?
Well, it's all part of the FTCC already has the school on the property. It's the old Pauline Jones Elementary School, and they're teaching trades there. So this will be contiguous to that. So if someone's staying in this facility, all they got to do is walk out, go to class. They can walk back home. They'll be separated from the general population, as I understand. Keefe Valley is also a partner with us on there. Are they going to be working
medical? Like what medical? Are they bringing anything medical to the scene?
Well, there's always the medical part about, people by nature that live a homeless lifestyle are usually not in the best health.
Right, I was going to say,
we are a community hospital with Keefe Valley, so there's always options and opportunities to go there. But they want to be part of this solution to help out. We have one of the 5 busiest emergency rooms in the country.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you've ever been there, you know that. You know that 100%. Right. Yeah, I know. But there's something else cool going on with Keefe Valley. They've partnered with Methodist University.
Oh, yeah. That's a biggie.
Well, it's the first.
This is the big one, guys.
We have a medical school.
Almost. We almost have a medical school.
We have a medical school. It is coming. There's partnerships. Methodist University is taking care of the educational side of it. Keefe Valley is taking care of the medical side of it. This is a huge part and a huge jump for our community that they say most doctors that come in stay where they train. Yes. There's a good. So what we're doing is we're increasing the health of the community, the vitality of the community, and hopefully this is just a multiplier that will.
When does it start? Like, there's
already residents at Keefe Valley, but that they were doing their training in. This. I think their first. Class is coming in next year.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is actually coming in as
because it's the wheels are in motion.
And if you don't know this, it's hard to get a medical school. I mean, you got to. You don't just one day decide to get a medical school. I'm going to brag on my FTCC a little bit. Yeah, I know you did. FTCC in November is going to open up the country's largest indoor swiftwater training center.
And they've been working on that for a long time.
Right. It's all part of their commitment to public safety, but it will be the large. People from all over the country will be coming to use this. And most people don't know that when Hurricane Matthew came here, we had over 150 water rescues.
Yeah.
It was flooding. We see pictures of kayaks and people.
That was my house, actually. There's my kayak just went through the backyard.
So, first responders are one of those things that you hope you never need it, but when you need it, you hope they're trained. And and they can give you the service that you need. On the state level, they're out of session. Well, they're trying to do the districts again, and last time they did it, everybody sued everybody, and they never could get anything. So we're probably on the same.
Strikes again.
And they are tough. They are tough.
They're a tough crowd.
So Well, I'm going to jump from, let's see, we did city, we did county. Yep. We talked just briefly about the state.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get some state people coming here to give us a better feel. But in the federal thing, you know, in the House of Representatives, they're doing this big thing with the speaker, right? Mm-hmm. So it was they bounced Kevin McCarthy, then they bring this Jim Jordan in, and he can't get the votes. And then they picked this other guy. He lasted 4 hours. And he decided, no, this ain't for me. Well, it is, but you know, I think people expect more. I think the people that live on Main Street expect people up there to be able to get a speaker, because basically, if you don't have a speaker, you can't convene the House of Representatives. And well, you can, but you can't get budget spend. You can't do the big things.
What are their normal? Generally,
they're all over the place.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Like, who do you think would be the best, you know?
Well, they as of last night, and this is like musical chairs, you know, when the music stops, you know, who's going to be the one standing up? There's a guy from Louisiana called Mike Johnson, and he seems to be the flavor of the hour or the flavor of the day that's going So, you know, we'll see. By the time this airs, heck, it could be 2 more people, but Congress has got to get their stuff together. They really do.
They're not gonna, but they need to. Okay,
here is my welcome to Fayetteville or WTF moment.
That's for you guys.
Welcome to Fayetteville, WTF moment. The EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, a federal group, just authorized Chemours to export from the Netherlands hundreds of thousands of Gen X to come to Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yeah, we're already having problems with that.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal. And the worst part about it is the EPA makes this decision on their own, doesn't even tell our Department of DEQ in the state. They didn't even know.
I've been mad at them since they shut down the Ghost Trap in Ghostbusters 2. Like, they have not done anything right for me since they took Bill Murray.
You should call people on this. We do not need more Gen X in this area. This is absolutely ludicrous.
It's like
it is
to have a protest.
Well, there's lots of different reasons to have a protest in today's world.
But this is a
big deal.
Yeah, this is a birth defecty one.
Yeah,
a cancery one.
Everybody wants to talk about how bad it is, but it seems like nobody is willing to take it serious. And, you know, there's lawsuits out there, pending lawsuits, but let's talk about something fun. What is going on in our community in the next couple of weeks that is fun?
Well, this weekend is packed.
Tell me about what's going on.
We have the zombie walk because it is spooky.
Have you ever done it?
I have. Have you ever
done it? Yes, I've done it one time.
Just one time?
Yes. My kids are now 13 and 15.
Yep.
So they may, I think they'll do a lot better than they would when they were younger.
So how did they do?
No, they didn't go.
Just you?
Yeah.
The zombie walk is a good time. It's grown every single year since its inception, and now it's taking over. It is actually recognized in the state, so there's a lot of people that show up from out of town. I love the note here, zombie walk to bring mystery, intrigue. Also bring hand sanitizer because there are a lot of people at this event. But it's very cool. The costumes are very elaborate. They've got music. They've got food. It's a great...
How would somebody participate?
They dress up as a zombie and show up downtown.
Downtown? This Friday night?
This Friday night, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was asking you, like, when's this going out?
Yeah.
Also this Friday night, if zombies are not your thing, don't sweat it. Lori Morgan, country artist Lori Morgan, is coming to the Givens Performing Arts Center in Pembroke over at UNCP. You remember Lori Morgan?
I do.
Oh, yeah,
I remember very well.
Yeah. So you want to come out and see Lori Morgan? I'm actually going to be hosting that show. You can get your tickets, Ticketmaster.com, WKML.com. So she's going to be out there. It's going to be a good time. Rocky Horror Trolley Ride. That is something that is happening, I guess.
Zombie walk.
Oh, with the zombie walk. That's going to be dangerous, don't you think?
I think anytime you have zombies on a trolley.
Yeah.
It sounds like it could be a movie.
Zombies on the Trolley.
Zombies on the
That's
Trolley.
That's a great punk band. If you're into punk, Zombies on the Trolley would be your thing. The Addams Family Musical. That one has been such a big deal. The Cape Fear Regional Theater is presenting the Addams Family Musical this month. The month is almost over, so you need to get on it. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Sunday, the rest of October through November 5th. And finally, the Botanical Gardens have the Cape Fear Valley Health. They're going to host the Halloween at the Botanical Gardens, because who doesn't love to get botanical, from 5:30 to 9, October 26th, and 4:30 to 9 p.m., the 27th through the 28th. All the information, you can check that out, the Cape Fear Botanical Gardens website.
How do you feel when you go to October and you go into Lowe's? Well, but you go into Lowe's or Michael's or any of these shops, and they got Christmas music playing. I mean,
so I used to be really against that, but the older that I get, I'm just like, I'm liking this a little bit.
What about Thanksgiving?
Well, you can fight the good turkey fight, but if you'll notice that they started putting out Halloween stuff this year, like at the beginning of August. So like they're pushing things backward and backward, except for Thanksgiving. They do just kind of pop over it because it's not a shopping holiday.
Except for Black Friday.
But that's not a Thanksgiving holiday. Like that's to prep for Christmas, or all you December birthday people out there. But it's like there's no money really to be made on Thanksgiving. In fact, people are hurting so much this year that Aldi has lowered the prices of all your Thanksgiving staples. So
good for them.
Yep, but a lot, by a huge amount. So, if you need some Thanksgiving stuff for on the cheap, Aldi's your place.
This leads into that staple of Cumberland County that every year you can always count on, the Junior League having holiday fair.
Oh, holiday fair. So that's
more crafts, more food.
That's a big deal in my boyfriend's family. He's got a bunch of sisters and a mother, and they annually do this thing.
They come from all over.
And people they schedule events around this event. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the crime scene library.
Yeah, you were going to tell me about that. Yeah. That's kind of like in your world a little bit, isn't it?
Jimmy's saying I'm creepy right now. So the Crime Scene Library, and I'm going to pull this up right now. It is happening on Saturday, October 28th at the Cumberland County Public Library from 9 to 5. This is at the big library downtown, headquarters library. They're going to have speakers and activities, interactive crime scenes. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Downtown Fayetteville, interactive crime scenes. You're not going to know where real life begins and ends on that one. Reading recommendation and music and video playlists. Check out Cumberland County Library's website for all the information on that. Again, that is happening this Saturday. I'm excited about that.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Very cool. Listen, I don't know not one woman of any age that doesn't love true crime.
As long as they're not participating in it, I think it's good to know.
Podcast about it.
All right, we're going to talk real quick about some things that are happening at the high schools. We're still in the middle of football season. It looks like our 71st Falcons are going to take home the prize here, but Cape Fear Colts and the Terry Sanford Bulldogs are in the playoff hunt. We're going to see how that's going to look in the Class 3A. In 4A, big game this Friday night, which is another thing you can do Friday night if you're in that world, is Southview is playing Jack Britt. That's always a big rivalry. That's a big rivalry. Pine Forest is obviously in the hunt for the playoffs, as we're going to see how that game with Jack Britt goes, see who's going to survive with Jack Britt and Southview.
Football's huge here. Like
we're not quite Texas. We're not quite Texas, but it's big. It's big. Yeah, we do love it. But all right, I'm going to take a shout out to somebody that's a little bit different. Did you go to the State Fair? Did you ever go to the State Fair?
So I didn't go this year because it was so expensive.
Yeah, I know.
It's like I had friends that went and they were like overspending and underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Which I can't have those two in the same sentence.
It's one of those things that when you finally get there, you wonder, what the heck am I doing here? But blowing money, eating turkey legs, roasted corn, fried Jello, and
for that money, go to the Renaissance Fair. North Carolina has the best Renaissance Fair.
You've told me about that before. You said it's a good time. Well, we have a local celebrity. Oh, there's a lady at Cape Fear High School. Her name is Billy Faith Fulcher. And Billy she lives on a farm and she raises pigs, and she brought home 6 different titles from the State Fair back to Cumberland County. So Billy Faith Fulcher, who won the Grand Champion Senior Showmanship winner, she was a Supreme Grand Champion breeding, Grand Champion crossbreeding. She knows. I'm just going to say, she knows her swine. She knows her pork. She knows her swine, I guess. But that's a good story. I mean, she's very involved in that. She's obviously with him. Story. But good for Billy.
If you're going to do something, do it right.
Do it right.
Yeah.
And
good for you, Billy.
Hats off for Cape Fear High School and where you go. They do have a couple local people that are in the East-West game, which is like their all-star game, the best players from the East. We have Juan Hernandez from Pine Forest, Rico McDonald from Cape Fear, Landon Sargent from Cape Fear, and Kamal Thames from Cape Fear. The coach is Bill Sachoka from Pine Forest, and Jeff Moorhead, who is going to be the assistant. He's from Terry Sanford. So good representation out of Cumberland County for the East-West. I think we're running kind of out of time. You think people are tired of listening to us?
No one's ever tired of listening to me. I don't know about you. You're an elected official. I keep doing that because there's no difference between an elected official and a politician. Well, no, there's a difference. I felt like there was no difference.
Nobody ever says the word politician in a positive way. If you ever call somebody a politician, it's sort of a back end
page.
That'd be a bad idea.
I would like to know what you think. Do you think there's a difference between an elected official, because Jimmy says elected officials care about their job, and a politician is only in it for the title? Is that right?
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. But people have a tendency to want to be able to blame somebody, whether it's the head coach, whether it's the principal, whether it's the president of your homeowners association, or whatever it is. People like to be able to blame somebody. And I'm going to go all the way back to what we did at the beginning of this show, is talk about getting involved. 5% showed up on voting day.
That was
it's
a good
easy.
Callback.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, we're going to close this down a little bit. Tell me how glad you are for us to be back. We put the band back together.
Oh, I am very, very glad. We'll see when the check clears. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just glad that people are.
Yeah. I hope you've had a good time. I hope you were educated, informed, maybe entertained. And we hope
the Share Studio.
Yeah, come by.
Share Studio. It's very cool.
info@thesharestudio.com. Send us an email, look at tour. If you are a photographer with a side hustle or part-time and need a studio, come see us. If you're a podcaster or any type of creator.
If you just want to create, this is the place to be.
Yeah. We're here in our cyclorama green screen wall with this. And
Brian's going to do something cool right now.
Boom. All right. So we're going to call it a day on this one. Minda?
Yes, I'm Minda.
And I'm Jimmy Keefe. Thank you for tuning in to Keefe It Real. And I hope to see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Keefe It Real, and I hope you learned a little, were educated a bit, and entertained a lot. Please leave your comments on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, and check out our website at keefeitreal.com to check out upcoming guests, up-to-date local events, and listen to past podcasts. See you next time.